Okay, so getting ready for the meditation. So this is part 3 of this video. I like a blanket underneath the back of my pelvis because I like to support the back side of the bowl or whatever's on the ground. So I put a blanket to the wall. You're gonna need to go to a wall for this part. You're gonna want your 2 blocks, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do turn this way, a legs up the wall position. So I'm gonna get as close as I can to the wall, sideways, either way. I usually say if you're right-handed, bring your right leg up first or take your right hip to the wall. But we're gonna put the legs up, scoot my buttocks as close as I can to the wall comfortably. You may need to bend your knees to accommodate your hamstrings. But I'm gonna come down. I like a little bolster or pillow underneath my head. If you wanna do that, please feel free to. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna keep my knees bent for a moment so I can scooch my buttocks as close as I can to the wall. I'm gonna let my legs just rest. So I want to first let the weight of my leg bones fall into the pelvis, as comfortable as it can be. And then we're gonna take what in yoga we often call is a Baddha Konasana position. So the cobbler pose. You're gonna start to turn your feet, pinky toe side into the wall. You do not need to touch your feet together. They might wanna be slightly apart, but you're gonna start to slide your heels down the wall a little bit at a time. Wherever they end up, that's where I want you to support them. So for me, I like to take my first block and I'm gonna put it right on the pelvic floor and then it's resting on the wall. The second block for me can be set on the low height. Some people might need it all the way on the high height, right? So if your feet are higher up the wall, you're gonna go 2 tall blocks stacked on each other. But I prefer to have this a little bit lower. And also I like to keep my feet slightly further apart from one another. Then you can take your hands to your thighs and very gently begin to press the thighs towards the wall. We're just trying to create space in that diamond and awareness of where the block is in the diamond. Make sure your position is completely comfortable. And then with or without the help of the hands, so if you want to place the heels of your hands back on the rib cage, you can do that. Start to find that same breath we were doing seated. And it might even be easier now that you're lying down to feel the whole circumference of the rib cage expand as you breathe in and gently contract as you breathe out. And bring the awareness into the pelvic floor. See if you feel any movement there. And also notice your abdomen. So check to see that your abdominal area is expanding with the inhalation. And you might even purposely pull it in just slightly and contract it on the exhalation. So here's what I can tell you. Even if you have no feeling sensation of movement in the pelvic floor area, just bringing your awareness to this space in this meditation will begin to bring healing. However, the other thing you should know is that as we breathe into the pelvic floor, if you can feel it expand or lift at all, then know that it's moving. Some people will tell me, I can feel it lift, but I don't feel it contract. Well, that's okay, because if it lifts and you feel it lift, that means it's letting go. It may not be an active contraction, but it's moving. And the same goes for going the other way. If you can feel a gentle recoil or a drawing in of the pelvic floor muscles on the exhale, then know that when you inhale, they must be releasing in order to feel that contraction on the exhale. So you might feel one side of that movement more than the other. The stretching on the inhale or the contraction on the exhale. But we're going to add a visual to this meditation. So notice where the block is, make sure your legs are comfortable. And I want you to think of your favorite flower. And hopefully soon it's going to be spring in Wisconsin. So I like to visualize the tulip because it is a flower that opens and closes with the day and the night. So I'm visualizing a red tulip. You can choose any flower you'd like. Every time you take your breath in, you You feel your ribs expand, your abdomen fills like a balloon. I want you to see your pelvic diaphragm as that flower opening. And then as you take that gentle, slow breath out, image the pelvic floor diaphragm as that flower closing. So no longer thinking of it as a layer of muscles or even any sort of tissue in your body. Think of it as a flower. Take your beautiful breath in, and we nourish and vitalize that flower as it opens to the sunlight. And let go of that breath out. See that flower close back up, going back in for the night, releasing. Inhale, the flower opens. Exhale, the flower closes. If you have any discomfort at all in your legs or your back, take a moment to bring your mind's eye into those areas. Don't ignore it. Go in, notice on the inhale, and just ask them to release on the exhale. Think of your legs as the roots of your plant, firmly planted into the earth, leaving you in that feeling of being grounded and supported. And then come back to the flower. Just sensing that flower as it opens on the inhalation. And I even visualize the tulip. I like to see it with 4 petals, opening and closing. And when we use imagery in meditation, make the image as real as you can. So it might include not only a visualization of what color the flower is or the shape of the flower, but you might add a smell. Perhaps your flower is a rose and you like the smell of roses. So visualize the smell of the flower. Any of your other senses that you can bring in. Are there sounds as you watch your flower open and close? If you touch it, what would it feel like? Is it smooth? Is it warm or cold? And we just create that image in our mind's eye and then breathe that image into the pelvic diaphragm. If your mind wanders off, come back. Notice where the block is. Just staying present in this important, vitalizing space of your body. Seeing the flower open as you breathe in and closing as you breathe out. We can continue with the meditation, but I'm going to have you switch your leg position because we don't want the legs to fatigue too much. So when you're ready, you can begin to slide your legs up the wall. You can move those blocks if you'd like. You may find that your legs are more comfortable now with feet flat on the floor and then drawing your knees over to the side. So this is creating a little bit more of it would be like a squat position, a malasana, so feet flat on the floor. But I still have that open space in the pelvic floor. In fact, now I feel even more stretching in this particular position, but I no longer have the block there. So if the block in any way was inhibiting you from feeling the movement, hopefully it was helping because it was giving awareness, but now you can freely feel the whole diamond shape of the pelvic floor. Inhaling as it opens, lifting up towards the sky, and exhaling as it closes and comes back into your body. keeping your breath at a comfortable rhythm and allowing the breath in to nourish, to nurture, and allowing that breath out to purge and purify, to give it a space inside your body. If at this time you want to acknowledge any of your organs and your lower abdomen, you can do so. Organs of elimination, reproduction, and you don't have to know where they are, just being aware of them in those spaces. See if you can feel a sense of lightness and spaciousness and freedom in the area of your pelvic floor. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you'd like. I'm going to begin to slowly walk my feet back in, take my knees together. A little hug might be appropriate, hugging the knees in towards the chest. If you're staying there, enjoy. If you're coming out, please roll to one side, pausing for a moment. You may even come into a fetal curl and sense that space of security, the whole body. And coming up in your time when you're ready. Bringing health and some attention and awareness into this most beautiful space in our bodies. Cherish it, love it. It works on the muscular level, super important, but it's also a space of energy for us, particularly as women. Enjoy. Namaste.